How about a little draft now?
Okay.
Given that we're advocating for patience for Jordan Love, who are the players, coaches, teams deserving of patience in 2023? I'll let you go first.
Okay.
And you can pick Jordan Love if you want. This isn't the Jordan Love Memorial Draft. He is still among us. You can pick Jordan Love or anyone else you would like to pick.
I'll stay away from him since we talked about him in that grade of detail and that subject. I'll stay away and treat him. I'll let you have him if you want. I think the first one I'm going to go with though is a rookie quarterback here, right? And I'm going to go with Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts. I think that, yeah, boom, eat that, Florio. Yeah, I think that's one where, hey, of course, patience, right? Patience for what he looks like in the pass game, patience what that offense might look like. There might be some weeks early in the year where, it's ugly offense and they got to win through their defense and, managing the clock and doing things like that. I wouldn't be shocked. But those are the lumps you got to take for a guy that has superstar ability. So I hope that fan base will be patient, not only with Shane Steichen, but Anthony Richardson on top of that. That's a combination that, yeah, it's a work in progress. There's some stuff to be done there. You heard me throughout the draft process. There's a lot to like about Anthony Richardson, but there's a lot that has to be worked on too, especially polish as far as dropping back in the passing game and doing the right thing there. So that'll be my first pick, Mike.
Yeah, that would have been my first pick, too. I didn't think you were going to go there. I was trying to goad you into taking Jordan Love. I'm going to go with the Jets just generally. That we've seen their schedule. They're slapping this team together on the fly. Aaron Rodgers is 39. He was not spectacular last year. Is it because he had enough of the Green Bay Packers? Is it because Father Time is finally building a lead that Father Time will never relinquish? We don't know. But the schedule, right out of the gates, Bills, Cowboys, who's next? There's another one.
Yeah,
it's
Patriots, Colts, Broncos, Eagles. There we go. Right.
There, Patriots, Chiefs, Broncos, Eagles. Boom, and then it's a bye week. It was imprinted onto my brain. It may as well be tattooed onto my wrist. So, and Robert Saleh said last week they just want to get to 3-3 at the bye. 3-3 is a little aspirational. I think they could be 2-4 at the bye. Not that it gets any easier after the bye, but this is a team that's going to take a little time to gel. They're not going to come right out of the gates. And, I mean, look, we still got a month to go plus before we start picking games. But the idea of picking the Jets to beat the Bills week 1, I don't think so. Not the Buffalo Bills, but so it's going to take a little time.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're not going to see the best of what the Jets are right away. And they need to give themselves patience. They need to be patient. They need to understand that they can't freak out if they're 0-2, 1-2, 1-3, going into that game at Denver 1-3, 2-3 if they beat Denver, and then 2-4 if they lose to the Eagles. 2-4, if I had to pick a record for the Jets to start the season, I'd say they're going to be 2-4 when they make it to the bye. And if they are any better than that, they should be feeling very good about themselves, Chris.
Well, if they're 2-4 at the bye, then they're going to be 2-5 after the bye when they lose to the G-Men. But no, seriously, your point's real. I mean, it is. And, you said it right. Don't expect, I think there's people here that think, because of all this talk about Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, that they're just going to hit the ground running and it's going to be 385 yards and 3 touchdowns and Rodgers is going to be 27 for 34 in the first game of the year. No, hey, don't forget the GOAT and company were sitting there at 7-5 and had like 7 shamrocks up their butt to be 7-5 before they made their Super Bowl run that year. Remember Matthew Stafford there. There were some growing pains there. It was a little different. They kind of started out okay and then went through a valley of he threw interceptions and they lost their way and they had to regain it. They're going to have a spot here early in the year where, it's not going to look pretty. Hopefully they can manage ways to win games and win them ugly, like you're saying, to where it buys them time to get everything on the same page. And then hopefully by week 10, 12, all of a sudden we start to see an offense where we go, ooh, it's dangerous. But yeah, Jets fans, traditionally very patient group. Let's see if they can exercise patience. And I'm being sarcastic there. All right. They're
going to be calling for a trade of Mike White. Bring back Mike White. Bye.
Right? Seriously. Who knows what happens? All right. The next one I'm going to go with, Jonathan Gannon. I'm going to go with Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals, right? I mean, one, I'm saying this, he's part of the reason here, but I feel like the Cardinals and their offseason report card grade for the facility and all that has all led to this piling on of the Cardinals. And then, Jonathan Gannon and the way the Super Bowl ended and he didn't talk to the media and all that. That's one where I go, hey, that deserves some patience there. They're in a total rebuild mode, and their star franchise quarterback is not going to be healthy to start the season. And the draft told us that they're playing for next year. They've set it up and put all their eggs into the next year draft basket, and that's when they're going to reorganize their team completely. So I hope that fan base gives him a little bit, of some patience and realizes that this is about a bigger picture and not about this year.
Yeah, I think they get it. I think they understand it. I'd like to think they do. I don't think they've deluded themselves into thinking the Cardinals can be contenders this year. When you see the moves they made on draft day, it is what's the word I'm looking for? Geared.
What was that word you were just saying there? I don't even know what came out of your mouth there.
I said gained. Okay. I meant to say geared. Geared toward 2024. And that's what they're thinking of. This year, I don't – look, no one's ever going to admit to tanking, but I don't think winning is a major priority for the Cardinals in 2023. It's laying the foundation for whatever they're going to be in 2024. So if you're a Cardinals fan, you may as well be patient because it's not like the alternative is going to do you any good. They're not going to be good this year. And if they are, hey, treat that like some sort of a welcome surprise. There's been some positive stuff coming out of camp about how he's changing the culture. That doesn't mean it's going to result in wins, though, when you don't have a lot of great players on the team, and they don't. Next one for me is Sam Howell, especially because Ron Rivera said something last week about Jacoby Brissett that had Matthew Berry, Commanders aficionado, all stirred up on Friday when he was on the show, and he's right. Let's see what Sam Howell can do. Let's not start talking about bringing in Jacoby Brissett and trying to win 7 or 8 games with Brissett to maybe save Ron Rivera's job. Play Sam Howell all year to see what you have in Sam Howell. And don't expect Sam Howell to go 5-1 out of the gates. This is all about finding out what you've got in this guy that was a mid to low round pick in 2022, would have been a first round pick potentially in 2021 if he'd come out. You got a little glimpse of him last year. You have a new offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy. Give this guy a chance to grow into maybe your year-to-year starting quarterback. There's only one way to find out. So when Rivera talked last week about don't sleep on Jacoby Brissett, that sent up some alarms that maybe Rivera is going to be tempted to go with a more proven commodity at some point and not Sam Howell, maybe revolving door, just something, because I think Rivera believes he needs to get to the playoffs to be back for 2024, and he may be right if he does believe that.
Yeah, that's I don't doubt that. That's kind of how I look at it in some ways. I mean, not definitive, but yeah, I mean, it's a big year for Rivera, that coaching staff. We know how the NFL works. And yeah, they've got some talent on offense. They got Eric Bieniemy coaching the offense. Everything should be on the up and up. The quarterback is a big thing. When he says things like that, that to me just like in my football world or mine just goes, ooh, that means Jacoby's been having some good practices. Maybe a Sam Howell, has been just a little bit off, and he's sending warning shots. He's trying to keep that hot poker there to Sam Howell. Let him know, like, hey, the red carpet, you just don't get to be the starter no matter what here. You got to keep earning it and playing and doing the right thing. So, those are the messages the head coach sends out this time of the year. All right, this is where it's a little tough here. I think, there's a few different options here, but I'm going to go with Brock Purdy, all right? All right, Brock Purdy is one I'll throw out there because I have a hard time thinking that he's going to come back and be looking right away like the guy we saw at the end of the season. Or some people I think expect, well, he should be a little bit better, right? He played last year. He had the experience. He should come in this year and be going. No, that's not an easy injury he went through. That was a long time without throwing, getting any rhythm, doing anything. I don't care who you are. Right? It takes some time to get used to, oh, wait, I'm back out here in front of people, live bullets practice, let alone take some time like, damn, I haven't thrown a football in 6 months or more than that, right? So that's going to be a little bit of work in progress. And if he is healthy to start week 1, what I'm saying is 49ers fans don't expect him to lead the league in quarterback rating that week. He's got to manage the game, make a play with his legs here and there. And then, just a few nice throws. But don't expect it to be, 320 yards like we talk about, and he's carrying the team and looking like he did, late season, early playoffs last year.
Well, and one person who needs to be particularly patient with Brock Purdy would be Kyle Shanahan, who seems to have just that fascination with Sam Darnold. Keeps talking about Sam Darnold, kind of compared him to Steve Young in a roundabout way not long ago, saying that to Michael Silver of the San Francisco Chronicle, basically, why can't Sam Darnold do what Steve Young did? It took Steve Young a few years to really find his groove. Not that he went through the same scenarios that Darnold went through, but I feel like there's this quiet hope that we get to see what Darnold can do coming from the organization, and that adds to the question of whether or not Brock Purdy will have the patience that he needs. I'll go Bryce Young for my last one instead of Jordan Love. We've already talked about Jordan Love because I was torn between the two other top 5 rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Richardson would have been my first pick. C.J. Stroud's going to have patience because nobody expects anything from the Texans this year. The Panthers are in that division that's wide open. The Panthers have a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. Bryce Young was the number 1 overall pick. The Panthers traded up from number 9 to number 1 to get him. There's a higher level of expectation walking through the door for Bryce Young than there is for the other 2 quarterbacks. And I think we still need to realize the guy's a rookie. The guy's got some things he's going to have to learn how to deal with at the NFL level, like not being able to see down the field, having to find his way through the alleys, through whatever cracks he can maybe engineer in the giant bodies in front of him, how to anticipate his throws, how to get rid of the ball quickly so he doesn't get thrown around like a rag doll like Tua has. A lot of stuff that Bryce Young has to figure out. And I think that and look, the Panthers did him no favors the way they've handled this. You trade up to number 1, you build the guy up even more. You make him the number 1 pick. He's built up even more. The expectation is going to be really high, and let's not expect this guy to walk through the door and be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to take some time. He's going to need some time to develop.
Yeah, 100%. That, they lost DJ Moore. Like you said, the pressure of the number 1 pick. He won the Heisman. They're going to be, by all due accounts, running a little bit of a different offense than what Frank Reich has run traditionally. So that's where, hey, you got to that and how they get on the same page there and how they figure out, hey, what do we want to do? How do we want to run our offense around Bryce Young? Yeah, there's going to be a learning curve here. Let alone we've never seen a quarterback like this in the NFL. We haven't. We've seen Kyler Murray, who's this size, but as we talked about, Kyler Murray has some traits about him that are elite. I mean, Kyler Murray can line up and arguably be the fastest guy in your football team. And Kyler Murray's stout and jacked. Like you're like, whoa, legs and got some muscle on him. This is different. So that's where I do think there'll be an adjustment period. And I'm very interested to see how it goes, how it looks, and how it all filters out here with this type of quarterback who's not necessarily known for his mobility, but is also, very small and undersized like we talked about a lot.
We're now infringing upon a topic that is going to come up later in the program, but that is one of the inherent dangers of a draft. It can be any guy, any topic, including topics that we're due to talk about later. We will be talking later in the program, though, about Bryce Young because he spoke to Peter King as part of Peter's ongoing training camp tour. For now, we will take a break. When we return, news about a Cowboys cornerback that doesn't involve cussing out Dak Prescott in practice. More PFT Live right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.